On this note, our principal has unmuted himself. I believe that this is an indication that he is now ready to address us. I want to kindly invite His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of a Labour Party, and by the grace of God, the incoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is only possible by the actions of you and I, by the targeted effort of you and I to ensure that all these things that is being said about him, like someone alluded to, he went to the, many of you have seen the video, when he went to the Dunamis Church in Abuja. Suddenly, those who say that his candidacy is only on the social media had something else coming for them. Because what happened in the Dunamis Church in Abuja has nothing to do with social media. It means we are all real, we are all indeed obedient. Now, I have the privilege to now welcome His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, to kindly address us globally. Thank you very much, His Excellency. You're welcome in our midst.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. Are you hearing me very well?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay. First, let me thank the Almighty God that made it possible for this meeting to be going on today, and for all of you who have been able to join in. Secondly, again, thanking all of you who are members of this network and are committed to this project. Like I've always said to everybody, and all the groups I've met, what I'm trying to do is not campaigning necessarily to be president of Nigeria. My campaign is a movement to bring Nigerians all over the world to take back their country. Your country is collapsing. So a massive movement to take back the country and run it like every other country. It is no longer somebody going to say, I'm president or I'm the leader and I'm in charge. But once somebody will say, we've all come here collectively to make it work. We want to be able to have people being proud to say, we are Nigerians. I'm not campaigning to be president as from the Southeast, from the Southwest, from the Northeast, from North Central. I'm a Nigerian. And I believe in Nigeria. And I want us to build a country called Nigeria where Nigerians can say they are Nigerians before they can say where they come from in Nigeria. Not that I'm Igbo man, I'm Yoruba man, I'm Hausa man, I'm Fulani man, but that we are Nigerians and be proud to call Nigerians. And that is why I've asked people who try to divide us, who try to base it on ethnicity, on a religion, to show me where Muslims buy bread cheaper, or where Christians buy bread cheaper, or show me where Christians have uninterrupted electricity, or Muslims have the same, or show me road that is constructed that is so good that is meant for only Muslims, for Christians. We are all suffering. We are all going through the same problem. The poverty is increasing all over. The entire country is insecure. The economy is collapsing and it's affecting everybody. But we are still being manipulated by our incompetent leaders to believe that we're from here, or we're from here, we're from the east, west, north, or this. As was said, today, Katsina is not safer than Oyo State. or Enugu State. And so are so many other places. So it is for us to deal with that situation. So I thank you for your effort. We are all going to do it together. And most importantly, we're all going to start working hard to serve Nigeria better. You live in different countries of the world. Nobody care, know where anybody comes from. It's locality, nobody knows. What they care about is the good of the society, the good of the citizens. And that is what Nigeria must start caring. That's what Nigeria must start sharing. I've listened to so many of your questions and everything, starting from the way I started listening was where somebody asked if they can put the picture, the name, and the party logo in the ballot paper. And I think your comment, Mazi, was right. Because there's so much litigations and everything, you know, elections there is not very easy. There's a lot of litigations within the parties, there's a lot of problems, as it will always be when government is the only business. So it's a transaction, not what it should be everywhere. There's always litigations and problems. Because of it, the party said, let the party go for election. And that is why parties go for election here, unlike other places. However, I listened to it, and I'll make that case. For other things that I said, like issues of support and all that, I urge you to do whatever you can. It's not going to be easy. What we're trying to do now, this movement we're trying to build, is not going to be easy. It's going to be very tough. It's something that we all need to work hard, because you're going to have all sorts of things. Like Maza just mentioned, in the past 1 week, and you see it going forward, what you're going to do is a discussion of facts. They go around, if I make 10 statements, and maybe being a human being, like it happened in my last interview, where I went to an area of Lagos, Papa, the case may be, and was held up in a traffic for over 5 hours. And I was coming back, I was trying to ask the station I was appearing if they can change it. When they couldn't change it, I decided, okay, let me appear. And then, of course, you make one mistake, which being a human being, I make mistakes every day. I do the wrong thing every day, but I try to correct. Especially when somebody who knows it better teaches me, because leading and learning is inseparable. If you know everything, then you're an idiot, because no human being knows everything. So if you make one mistake, they go and bring all sorts of things and manipulate your figures and everything. I've seen adverts where they said, World Bank, World Poverty Clock says that if you Google it, I see that 6 Nigerians, this was the report of 2018 or 2019, 6 Nigerians fall into poverty every minute. And I said the same thing. Then they go and say that Peter Obi said that 6% of Nigeria falls into poverty every minute. So what they are doing now is that they are not willing to talk. They are not willing to provide solutions. They are not willing to study what the problems are. But they now go about and start saying, Peter Obi said this, Peter Obi said that. And I've challenged them. If you know where I've said something that is wrong, please cite the interview. I've been speaking from the time I spoke in 2016 at the at the platform 2017 when I challenged the minister, then Minister of Finance, I said, what you're doing in years to come, Nigeria will be in debt crisis because you're throwing money to consumption. Nobody has spoken about debts more than me in Nigeria. I've shouted, I've said everything I've said about debts. Today, look at where we are, in a total mess. And it's going to get worse, where your revenue cannot even service your debts, not talk about repayment or anything, and we're borrowing more every month. So they now say, so if anybody now, you see anywhere, anybody say, Peter Obi, this, that, and is wrong, please ask him, show me the link of the interview. And if it's such link, bring it to your network so they can use it to correct me, so that I can say, use it better the next time. Anywhere they show you, if it's one I've corrected, I will come back to you and say, I've corrected this one. 2, if there's anything you want to verify about what I've said, especially with where I've served like in Anambra State, you can go there, but they are going to come now. Everything now is attack his character. We have done everything possible. You saw where Google said that I'm the most, in terms of the search person in the past 6 months. They've done everything humanly possible. In fact, one of the schools that I attended told me and called me and said, is there anything wrong? We have received over 1,000 people asking whether you came to this school. So I decided that since some of them from Nsukka to Lagos Business School to wherever, Oxford or Cambridge, I have an alumni number, I'm going to add them in my next CV so that it will make it easier for them to locate it. In a church service today, I had to show them, luckily I came to a church today, I saw somebody I went to primary school with. I saw somebody I went to secondary school with. And the pastor I went to university with. I said, listen, these are people, they're here. So they can tell you when I came in, when I left. So it's come to that because what it is now, let's damage his character. Let's do this. The reason why I mentioned is that I want to be able to warn you that this is what you're going to get, because now it is about this. Finally, I thank you again. I said to you, it is not going to be easy. You are trying to change. When you bring a change, you have for enemy all those who live off the old order. Don't forget that whatever we're doing today, if it works, you're going to kill the 2 giants that is in the marketplace, which is the PDP and APC. They're not going to take it lying low. So they're going to fight with everything. But if we work hard, we will be able to say to them, we're actually trying to save you. We're just trying to make things better, because if you continue this way and collapse, anarchy consumes everybody. But what we are doing is to be able to serve you. To be able to look at the future. That is why people can see me say, I'm not ready to waste my time looking back. I want to focus on going forward. There's a lot anybody can do going forward. I did it in the private sector when I chaired institutions. I did it in the public sector as governor of Anambra State. I never one day looked back. I looked forward. And I was able to turn all those things around. People can tell you, oh, there's Anambra State is not Nigeria. And I laugh. What else you used to? What was Clinton measured on? At least you can say about Clinton. It's been in the 21st century. It was the best president America had, because it was the only one that had a balanced budget. So What did they measure him on? It was what he did in Arkansas and so many other people. He used what people have done, like they say, penny wise, powerful. If the man can save a penny, then he can save it. If I've served in a state faithfully, and the records are there of what I did or did not do, can verify them. I've always said, whatever I say, go and verify it. So people can tell you. So it's not for me to come and say, oh, I moved school from 25th to number 1. The people in Anambra State, you can ask. Oh, I built the first teaching hospital, for example. Go, everything I've done, go and verify. Everything about my life or schools, anywhere. Go and verify. And I urge Nigerians, wherever I go, even when I was in the church, they said to them, do not listen to any of us. Do not look at our educational qualification. It is not a measure of integrity. Go and verify our background. I have 6 months to do today. So I urge you to be part of this. Try to help me by ensuring that wherever I make mistake, bring it to my attention and correct me. I don't know everything. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to listen. I might not have time to be part of your meeting always, but please, those things you discussed, try to convey them to me and say, this is what you want me to be doing, this is what you want me to be doing, this is what you want me to be doing. The only thing I appeal is that let us not worry about joining our opponents when they go low, by calling names and by referring to anything they've done in the past. That is their place. If we join them in the mud, they win us. Let us show the light and show example that we're going to move forward. All the people who are involved in this election are my elders. I was brought up where you must respect your elders. Of all the 4 leading candidates, I'm the youngest. The 2 senior ones are above 70. The one that is 60 something, that's still about 6, 7 years my senior. So I'm the youngest, and I need to respect them. They have been my bosses, one was the other. So I need to respect them. So it's important. So for me, show what you can do to salvage Nigeria. All I keep telling Nigerians that I can be able to halt this bleeding, turn this ship around, where people can know that their country is on the right track. We're not going to solve the problem overnight, but we can start being on the right track. The journey has to show a clear destination, and everybody will know that we're on the road to that destination. What is happening in Nigeria now is that nobody knows where we're going. And when you don't know where you're going, every road will lead you there. If you turn right, it's right. If you turn left, it's right. And that's where we are. So we want to stop that. We want to know the destination of this journey. We want to know that we're on the road to that destination. So our people can start having hope in a country called Nigeria. It's a country that is blessed. Country that have everything to be proud of. All of you live everywhere all over the world. Have everything. God gave us good weather, fertile land, everything. The only thing He didn't give us good leadership over the years. All we are going through today is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, where people have chosen not to serve this country faithfully. Otherwise, why would we be going through what we are going now? We can't even feed ourselves when we are living on 923,000 square kilometers of land, and we cannot feed ourselves. Go gone to every state in Nigeria and I say it every day, always using Niger for example. Niger State sits on 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. They can't feed it, they can't produce goods for Nigeria. Instead, they're waiting to share money from the present oil money we get from oil. That's what they're waiting to share. When those of you who live outside know that Netherlands, without water, is just 33,000 square kilometers of land. And they exported last year about 120 billion worth of agricultural products. But here, they can't feed themselves. So these are things we're saying that they must change. If Niger State can produce and export goods of $1 billion, I'm not saying that they should do 120 billion, but $1 billion, that's 500 and something billion naira, probably 500 billion naira today. The budget of Niger State is about 150 billion. And that money they are waiting to get it from 16 or 15 billion we get from oil. This is what we must stop. It must move from consumption to production. The reason why we're in debt crisis today is that all the money we borrowed for the opportunity. If there's still one or two questions I can clarify, I will. But may God Almighty bless all of you for what you're doing. And I urge you, please, do not relent. We must take back our country. Whatever they do, don't, I know what I get every day, threats, everything. But this country belongs to all of us. And it's a great country. We can change it. I know it's possible. Let's do it. God bless you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. And we do appreciate that you've spent the time with us this evening, addressing us not only the P2B support network that you have just addressed. We have the capacity of 1,000 here and over 5,000 people are watching you globally now. And I want to ask this question before I allow about two people to ask direct question before we move on. It is across the social media platform, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. These are, or rather, this is one question that keeps popping up. Many people say they are much concerned about the security around you, that they would like to know, or for you to assure them that you are taking enough precautions as regards to your security. That is the topmost question here. You may go on, sir, and take the question if you so wish, or should we skip it? You are, okay. You may take the question, or I can allow others to ask questions, then you take them at once.
Yes, I'm ready. But I didn't hear any question.
Okay.
The last question.
Okay, am I audible? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so the last question, the question I asked is a question picked across the social media platforms, and the topmost of all these questions is that many of your supporters are concerned regarding the security around you. What they just want to hear from you is the reassurance that the necessary precautions are taken around security around you, because this is across the social media platform. That is the topmost question. Well,
I can assure you that I'm doing everything possible to ensure that I'm secured. Maybe any day I see you personally, I'll tell you some of the things I'm doing. I'm doing everything possible to make sure that I'm secured, without obviously making it look as if I don't know what I was saying, but I'm doing everything to secure myself.
Thank you.
Above all, praying to the Almighty God.
Thank you very much for that. Then let me take a question from Chukwudi Mojeje. Chukwudi Mojeje, please kindly unmute and ask your question. 30 seconds. Thank you. Chukwudi Mojeje, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Njenje, for POSN for giving me an opportunity to speak. And I'm so delighted to have an opportunity to talk with His Excellency and the President-to-be by God's grace. We thank you for giving Nigeria hope once again, because it seems that we've been in the dark ages, and obviously we have a path to victory. We have a path to hope again. Nigeria has been through a lot. So I'd want to encourage you.
Question, please.
Yeah, I want to encourage you for that. So the question I have is, I'm talking from the diaspora, because I'm one of the coordinators for the doctors and medics for P2B in diaspora. And I know that we have a lot of our supporters that have been inquisitive and have contributed a lot to make sure that this election is a reality in terms of supporting the PVC sensitization, which we have carried out in about 20 states, including Anambra State. And the question I have is, from the party and from your campaign organization, what are we doing in place to make sure that we strategize? Because what we have in the news now is that the opponents are having a very organized campaign to bring, to bring us down. So we're wondering what is happening with, the campaign group, in a way to have a strategy group that is working under the radar to make sure that we put out the right news and then the right information.
Thank you very much, that's the much we can take. Thank you. May I use the opportunity? So let me take, just 2, 3, then you can answer them at once. Let me also take the question from Professor. Sorry. Let me take, okay, Professor has lowered, sorry. Okay, in that case, let me pick someone else. Francis Okoye, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to ask His Excellency question. I'm actually zooming from Anambra, Oka to be precise. So Your Excellency, we in the grassroots here have most times we've gone out, I chat with people, and the thing they keep asking is, the opponents they keep saying is that you did this, but they cannot see anything. And they always say that they are going to do this in terms of causing violence and stuff. So I want to know if there is anything the party or the organization is putting in place to quell the intended or the alleged violence that is going to happen, or probably they are planning to, especially in places like Lagos, Imo State, and some part of the north, where they obviously know that they are going to lose grounds to the Labour Party. They are seriously planning to cause violence. So I want to know if the campaign organization is taking note of it and what the plans to this.
I have one plea for us. Can we go straight to the point to allow others in? I'm going to call on Henry Omorere. Please, I know we have over 86 people, now 87, trying to answer ask questions. We are picking randomly. Henry Omorere, please. Henry Omorere, please.
Yes, Your Excellency. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Can you speak up, Henry, please?
Yes. Firstly, I want to really thank His Excellency for putting forward for this election. The most important thing I would actually like to contribute is that he should always continue to hit on the economy. which is very, very good. That is the weakest point of the major parties. The more he focuses on the economy, the more he's actually damaging the reputation of both parties. So he's doing a very good job connecting with people using the economy. And then most importantly, he should avoid citing, using a language of referring to, like, you know, I don't want to look at the past. I want to focus in the future, because people will take it to mean I don't want to focus on the reasons why we got where we are today. Because the level of criminalities that have been committed in the past, Buhari came into power because of his actually false, you know, intentions to rectify a lot of, you know, malpractices and criminalities that have actually gone wrong in the country. So you should avoid using any connotations that would mislead people into thinking that it might just gloss things over.
Thank you very much, Henry. Let me squeeze in one. Ambrose Obinma, please.
Oh, Mazi. So Mazi, mine is not a question. I just wanted, I raised my hand to re-emphasize, as we listen to His Excellency, as we are contributing, it's very important that we bind together. So there is a form I've been posting on the chat, and I've also linked it on the POSN website, Twitter account. Can you please consider joining us to contribute your time? Consider joining us so that we all coordinate together. Fill out this form on the screen so that somebody will reach out to you. We will allocate you to a coordinator close to you. And in that way, your time, your contribution will be joined with the other people contributing to the campaign. It's very, very important. We need more hands. Come and join us. Thank you, Mazi, for giving me the time.
Thank you very much. Newsbound, if you may stop sharing, let me quickly get back. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, go ahead. His Excellency, you can go ahead. If time permits, we can take a second batch. Thank you.
Very quickly, they said, somebody said, I've spoken about personal security. I'm doing everything possible to ensure that I take care of personal security. On issue of bad publicity or bad news, what are we doing to counter it, especially what they're saying? What the most important way to counter it for me is to always keep saying and doing the right things. Bad publicity and bad news will always come. I've campaigned as governor of Anambra State. At that time, nobody knew who I was or where I'm coming from. There's no part of bad publicity I didn't get. Some said all sorts of things, and I keep saying what I'm saying. You know, called me out of names, said I'm going to certain churches that I've not been. Some say I'm native doctor, some all sorts of things. Some tagging everything. Just keep saying, well, go and verify and look at it and everything. Somebody even on the post talks about the issue of when would the manifesto be available. Let me assure you, we are working on a document that will soon be almost available. But we don't want them to say we are campaigning already by doing this or doing that. But let me tell you, there's enough documents that have been studied, properly articulated policies in this country. The country is only lacking one thing, the political will to implement the same. So we might even see us. I've said that our manifesto and what we're going to do will be anchored on the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. When I was governor, we worked using the MDG, Millennium Development Goals. And that made us, despite the fact that I came in 7 years after it started, it was signed and started in year 2000. I started implementing it in year 2007. By the time it ended in 2015, Anambra State was number one. It had to get me to share my experience in United Nations on what we did. And what we did was very clear. And that leads me to answering the fourth question that people, the man from my friend from Oka, who said people keep saying that Peter keeps saying what he did and what he did and what he didn't do. Unfortunately, we live in a country where we do not follow clear developmental plan or known goals. The only measure of development in a society today is HDI, Human Development Index. This is a measure of life expectancy, education, and per capita. It's a very simple thing. Life expectancy is about health, education, because the more a country is educated, the better your development. Per capita is that if we have proper education, you increase people's livelihood, quality of livelihood. They earn more money, they live well, can pay their bills. You put people out of poverty. These are the only three critical measures of development. And when we were working, we followed the MDGs. If you look at the MDG, then the first goal is pulling people out of extreme poverty. And what did we do since we are in Anambra State to pull people out of extreme poverty? We are the first state in Nigeria to have a statistical record of poverty mapping. You can go to Federal Office of Statistics and you see that Anambra was the first. We studied it and we found out why so many communities are poor. You are in Anambra State. When I started, the poorest area of Anambra State was Anambra West, Obaru, Anambra East, Omambara, and Ayamelum, Omambara area, Ayamelum area. And we studied why are they poor. The reason why they are poor is that they have no access. Before I became governor, you cannot drive across the Anambra River and go to a place like Imiata. To tell you how bad it is, when I was giving secondary schools vehicles, the only local government that did not give one vehicle was Anambra West, because there's no road for the motor to get to the school. So they came to me and said, since it's our entitlement, pack it in Oka. The day we see road, we'll take it. But go there today, you can drive from Anna, you cross the bridge, drive from Anam to Miata. And the entire Ayamele have not single kilometer of road. Today they have 43 kilometers of road. Omaru, from Onitsha, you can't get to Osamala. Today you can get from Onitsha to Osamala. All these roads were constructed by me because I have to open them up because that's what they needed, access. Not coming to the capital and building this. When I became governor, the Anambra State did not have governor's office because it was burnt, no governor's lodge because it was burnt, no secretariat. All the ministries were scattered all over Aka and beyond. That secretariat you have seen was built by me from scratch. Your university today have teaching hospital, the fastest teaching hospital ever built. And this is I'm telling you is randomly. But let me tell you the most important thing that I did, which is the most important thing that's required in Nigeria. Today, your country have a human capital. A human capital is 152 over 158. You cannot be calling about building physical infrastructure without building human infrastructure, which is the education, which is the highest. We took education from being number 26 and 27 in WAEC and NECO to number 1. Nobody. In fact, I read what Oyo State was saying the other day. The governor said one of his greatest work is that when he came, education was at number 25, but they are now number 12. And I remember that vividly because when we were number 26, they were number 25 equally. We took it to number 1. There was not single school of nursing or school of midwifery or school of health technology when I started being governor. And you're talking about primary health care. When you don't have nurses or where to train them, how can you do primary health care? Today, Anambra have the highest number, not the, actually one of the highest number of school of, we have about 12 school of nurses, school of midwifery and everything. And they were, each and every one of them was set up and built under me. Of course, I can go on and on, but we are not in question. And just to clarify to you, you might not be looking about the opponents threatening what they will do and what they will not do to disrupt or do anything. Do not care about the opponents. They will always be threatening. Like I told you before, if you're going to bring a new order, you have for enemy all those who live off the old order. They're going to do something drastic. Even in the Bible, when Jesus told the evil spirit that was possessing the man who was possessing to leave, remember they left and went into swine and destroyed everything, and they're going. So they will do everything possible to say, we're not going to go, we're not going to do this. But with your help, with your prayers, we must be able to turn around this country and stop people from holding a country God so blessed to ransom. Continue to talk about the economy. I want to realize, let me tell you, Nigeria's biggest problem and number one problem is economy. People will tell me security. I say, yes, security is number one problem we have. But this security is because your economy have collapsed. From Mexico to Colombia to Brazil to South America to all parts of South America.
I think a call muted you. Can you
And that is known everywhere. So if we're able to reduce, there's no way you can have 100 million people living in poverty, have about the world highest unemployment rate, because while the percentage of the other countries are higher in population, we are higher, about 25% underemployment. In fact, if you use our population of about 200 million, the active population that is supposed to be working, supposed to be about 120 million, but those who are working today are about 46, 47 million. So you have about 55% of your population not working and not being productive. And that is why you have also of crisis. You see government say they don't have enough revenue. How can you have enough revenue when there's poverty everywhere? The more you put people out of poverty, the more revenue you generate. Because people are going to pay you taxes. They're going to pay this thing. Nobody's going to pay taxes, not doing anything. You're looking for money to eat. So you have to deal with it. And the more these people have a means of livelihood, the better. You can, when so many millions of people don't know where the next meal will come from, you're going to have the amount of criminality we have in the society. Look at our drug prevalence. Because these people are poor, Some of them have gone into drugs, especially the young ones. Our drug prevalence today is 14.8 as a global against the global average of 5.8. You have so many youths who are supposed to be in school, who are not in school. Our tertiary education intake is 9% against average of 38% globally. So our problem is the economic problem. The more you deal with the economy, the more you stabilize the economy and get people employed and working and productive, the better overall. We're not doing anything today. We have issue of dollar, issue of this, issue of that, because we don't have a productive economy. 923,000 square kilometers of land with a population of over 200 million. Our total export last year, including oil, is under $30 billion. Netherlands export last year is about $500 billion. You know the size of Netherlands. You know the size of the population. But let's say it's in the Western world. We use another developing country, Vietnam, 331,000 square kilometers of land with 100 million people. Total export last year is $312 billion. So we couldn't even do 10% of what they're able to do. Look at Bangladesh. Texas, $32 billion. $32, $34 billion, which is twice what we earn oil. They now get more diaspora remittances than we get. So it's Egypt, Philippines. Why? When we are more populated, because our people are not educated, so you can't even export them to go for diaspora. If you go all over the world now, you see that drivers, cab drivers, people who work in people's houses are Filipinos, Egyptians who are driving cab, people from Afghanistan, everywhere, not Nigerians. Because you can't go and ship people who didn't go to school, who don't know how to even communicate. These are the critical things why you must invest in the critical area of basic education to be able to say, even if they can't get a job here, if they are properly trained, they can go and work anywhere all over the world and be able to, at least, that's what remittances. So these are issues that, our problem is economy. On issue of the past, I've said it before, if you close your shop and start chasing thieves, by the time you come back, one, more goods must have expired. Two, more goods have expired. Two, you're going to have to lose customers. Imagine in your neighborhood now, there's a shop there, and you come, and they said, you know, the shop have closed the shop, and it's chasing thieves. We have stolen something. 1 week, 2 weeks, you find another shop, and it's in location. So for me, let's focus on the future. For me, let's learn what it is. If this government had come in and said, from the day we are here, we will not allow anybody to steal again, I can tell you they'll save more. Practice. But against the Anambra State, they will come with all of them. Oh, the past governor did this. This was I tell you, it's not for me. My job here is to look forward and save my own. And I say to anybody, go to Anambra State while I'm there. If any contractor, any supplier will say he ever sat one with Peter Obi to add money, come and stop this, what I'm doing today. So focus on yourself. If you are there, you're not stealing, your wife is not stealing, those around you are not stealing, you reduce it by 70%. And you do the right thing. Because part of the problem we have in Nigeria is not just corruption, but having people who enlarge the cake. What is happening here is that people don't even have an idea they enlarge the cake. So that even if they take small, we can leave. They'll just come, the small cake that is there, they just carry it. And then we have a crisis. Maybe my style is different, but let me just give you an example. By the time I left Anambra State, I had $150 million in bank account. So that's just Naira. I have $450 million saved in Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, Diamond Bank. Each of these banks have at least $50 million of Anambra State money. Each of these banks have at least 10 billion naira of Anambra State money. So assuming that I decided to do what I believe is wrong, because no matter what you do, it's not the quantity you've taken or stolen that makes you a bad person. It is the act. But assuming I decided to do it, and I had taken out of the $150 million, 50 million. And out of the 3 billion, 30 billion naira, 3 billion. So take 10% of which. I would have still have 27 billion and 125 billion left in the bank without any debts. So can you see it? And I have $15 million. And that, as at that time, $3 billion is also $20 million. So I have $35 million. Anybody who has $35 million anywhere in the world today will be living like a star. But because I've enlarged the cake by saving that money. But what happens here is that people now steal, borrow the money and steal it. So it becomes a double whammy. So I believe that we have a first with incompetent leaders who have never created wealth, so they don't know how to manage one. So in the end, we are damaged in two ways. But all those things can, that's why I don't want to look at the past. Let's look forward. I'm not saying I've given everybody in the past a blanket situation, but let's focus on the present and focus on
exactly. That's what the story they take view. Now the matters what they said to.
You just came from asylum.
So
I went to library. Okay, to get. Is there no one close to you guys there?
None of them are. You know, Sunday, would you even believe a library?
Please move. Please
I
move.
didn't know this.
Okay. That's okay.
sorry, sorry for that interruption. Sorry, I think one of the co-hosts wasn't aware that he somewhat unmuted himself. We are deeply sorry. Now, you know, I do understand that you were rounding up, but if you permit, there may be one or two individuals here that in order to balance this conversation, if you still have time to spare with us, I mean, that's with your permission. If you permit me, I can take a couple of other.
I'm here with you for the next few minutes.
Oh, excellent, sir. In that case, I'm calling on Professor Femi Olufemilade. Professor, please, can you be brief? Not more than 1 minute, please. Thank you very much. Professor, go ahead. Kindly unmute.
I've unmuted. I want to congratulate His Excellency for having gained traction, you know, in a way that I would say is phenomenal. Having said that, I just want to use this medium. I've tried to message him privately for some time, and I don't think he has been noticing my message. But what I want to say on this occasion
I have to go and look for it.
is to say that in your campaign or policy agenda, try and have regional sub-plans, so that what you will be using as the basis of your campaign will appeal to those who are the thinkers for the various zones in the country. I'm a Yoruba man and I know that you have a lot of youthful supporters. You also are, among the Yorubas, you also have some elders, but the election is still some 6-7 months away, or let's say roughly 6 months away. And in the final analysis, people are going to ask, what does he have for us? We are not producing the vice. Why should we vote for him when there are Yoruba people? Almost about 5 of them in the race. MK Abiola's son is there. Adebayo Adewale in SDP is there. I don't want to talk about Jagaba. It's too obvious. But then the typical Yoruba person, maybe some don't know, it's not likely to vote you because you're a Yoruba person. It has never been so since 1922 when they started voting. They voted Ernest Ekoli against Akinsoya, the late demo of Ishara. They voted Nnamdi Azikiwe when they said, Chino Achebe said Azikiwe was robbed. The Azikiwe election to the Western House of the Western Parliament, was it not the Yoruba people that he was representing there? So they have always, I'm coming. What I'm saying in a nutshell is that you need to factor in regional peculiarities and expectations. Yoruba people, a lot of them are tired of this country, if I must be honest with you. They've been talking about restructuring. So when you want to approach restructuring, you must break it down. State police is important, things like that, so that when you go around, you meet them in their caucuses, you speak the language they understand. And that is when they will tell you, Mr. Peter Obi, you can go, leave the rest for us. So you really need that.
Thank you very much, Prof. Please, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. In line with what Prof said, now I'm taking this question from the YouTube. That question is from Ntodonke. It says, on constitutional reform, what's your take on the issue, sir? On that note, I will take one of our northern coordinators in the person of Malta Topsy. Malta, please kindly unmute, and you have 1 minute to ask your question or submit your comment. Malta Abubakar, please. Malta, are you there? Okay. Barrister Mrs. Roots, please.
No?
Okay, sorry, Malta, go ahead. 30 seconds, go ahead.
Yes, I give the opportunity. I just have to talk 1 or 2 things. We have spoken the issue of securities, and in the northern part, more especially in the northeast, where we have one of the candidates there, and
Sadly, Malta, I do apologize that your network has not allowed you to complete your question, but may I take Barrister Mrs. Roots? Please kindly unmute. Agenda balancing. Okay, go ahead. Mrs. Roots, go ahead. Okay. Mrs. Ruth, last chance.
Unmute.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Your Excellency, I'm privileged to be in this meeting.
Good evening.
My question, I want to go straight to the point to save time. My question is, what do we do about the network? Because information reaching us is that the electronic voters machine is going to be very slow. Network is going to be very slow in the east, especially in the southeast, and in other areas where there's density of we obedience. And so I want to know the alternative network arrangements that has been made or that can be made so that we can put heads together and begin to work towards it. That's really what I want to ask. Thank you very much.
Barrister. And may I also take our Niger State Coordinator, Ismail. Ismail, kindly unmute, please. 1 minute, please. Can we stick to time? Ismail, can you unmute?
Good evening, Your Excellency. Hello?
Go ahead, Ismail, go ahead.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to speak with you this night. I'm the coordinator too, and inshallah. My own question is generally not for Muslims, because people are saying that if you win, we are not going to take Muslims along. What assurance are we giving we Muslims that are really campaigning for you in North here? That's number two. Number three, or number one. Number two.
Ismail,
sir.
Now that you go answer the questions, I think let's allow others.
Okay, just one question, please. Number two is your observation, sir. Please, I want you to talk to your supporters. Let's keep away from social media. Be measuring Muslim, ethnic, and all these things. Because what we are campaigning here is Peter Obi. This is what you have done before. And we thank God, you give us alternative. If not today, we have no alternative is to go and alliance. Today we are happy, and that is why we are campaigning for you today. So I want you to advise our supporters, please, they should stop writing Muslim ticket and all these things. We are giving Muslims more this thing, please. Chances to come together. I'm a Muslim. Thank you very much, sir.
Muslim ticket has nothing to do with His Excellency. We know where that is coming from. We know who made that choice again. But thank you for your questions. Now, His Excellency also pardon me to take this individual. I want to ask Ferdinando Swagu, please. Please can we stay to time? Ferdinando Swagu.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Your Excellency, my name is Ferdinando Swagu. I'm one of the coordinators for Doctors for Peter Obi here in diaspora. My question is, you're a good product, in terms of marketing and selling the ideas which you stand for. I don't know if there is a formalized media warhouse that combines your campaign and Labour Party that can at least every weekly bring out some form of messaging. For example, we had a security situation in Abuja. It would have been nice to have a press release from your campaign, Labour Party, speaking to the facts of what has happened during that incident so that people can be seeing that and making choices. And if you're going to set up that media warhouse, would you also include your support groups? We have more than willing people who are willing to partner with you to help drive this narrative forward. So every week, it would be nice to have something coming from the campaign office and Labour Party of Peter Obi, speaking to issues that has happened that week.
Thank you very much, Ferdinand. Your question is well taken.
Let me start answering by starting. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead now.
I'll start with Ferdinand. Ferdinand, when it is campaign, There's no coordinated media office. Everyone and each of you is part of it. A P2P support group can actually do all this. I can sit down with you people, share my ideas. We are one of my biggest selling partner. So at the end of the day, you can do what you're just asking me now to go and set up what people do. You can actually do it, and this organization is in best position to do it because you're a collection of people with talent and a lot of ideas, and who can come together and decide this is the way we must go. And I listen to you. We can share the ideas. So there's no need for me to go and start setting up another people to do it. Prof, on what you said about issue of regional agenda, I agree entirely with you. Is all what you're saying is about issue of restructure and everything. And I share that, Prof, if I have not been answering or taking your messages, I sincerely apologize. You know how busy this thing can be at times when you're running from pillar to post. But I will also appeal that you help me to articulate something in writing, which I can look at and everything. Remember what I always say, the leader doesn't know everything. Leading and learning are inseparable. I want to learn, I want to listen. That's the only way I can do it better. If I didn't have a good team in Oka, I won't succeed. So the team is far more important than an individual effort. And that is what I'm trying to set up again, have a team of people who wants to do the job. And Prof, you can always help me. I'm looking forward to your help. On issue of constitution, which is part of what Prof mentioned, issue of whether you're going to have restructure. When people talk about restructure, they make it look as if it's something that is coming from the moon. We are a federal system. That in itself has said each component or state of all are on their own. If I'm president today, one thing I can assure you is that I will hold the governors responsible for the security of their states. And if so, I will ensure that the federal police posting a commissioner to a state, that commissioner must be answerable to the state government. And the state is allowed to have its own police. They will be responsible for their security. Even if local government is going to do it, I don't mind, as long as we have security. Nigerians must have security. The country must be secured. Non-state actor cannot be in control more than the government. And I've said this issue of security before. It will be decisive and it will be immediate. We are going to appeal. We're going to discuss with those who want us to discuss. We're going to consult. We're not going to just come up and we're going to consult. We're going to appeal. We're going to do everything possible, but we're going to be firm. Because without security, we cannot attract investors. We cannot even attract Nigerians to come. People cannot go back to their farm. For example, in the north, I want farmers to return to their farm. I want them to be secured in their farm because then we need them. It is important. And that brings me to somebody that talks about assurances of the north. It's because you've not been listening to me. If you listen to me, sir, I've said it. The most important oil of the future of Nigeria is the vast uncultivated land we have in the north. I'm just giving you an example using Netherlands, using Niger State. Let me not even go and start saying the size. Let's say the size of Niger State and Netherlands is the same thing. And their population is about the same thing. I'm not sure. But they should be. So let's say Netherlands is that. These people have been able to export 120 billion worth of agricultural goods. And I'm saying that Niger State can do 1% of that. 1% of $120 billion is $1.2 billion. At $500 naira to dollar, it is 600 billion. Go and check the budget of Niger State today. I can assure you, it will be in the region of 150 billion naira. So, for me, that vast land must be cultivated. Kaduna and Kano should be a processing center by now for export of goods, if we're a serious country. I've met kidnappers. I've met those who did the wrong thing. I've interviewed them. They will tell you, why are you doing this? Because we have no job. How much were you paid in last operation? 30,000, 40,000, 60,000. If that person has a means in which he earns 40, 50,000, he wouldn't be doing that. I was in Taraba. Taraba is a state with 54.5 or so square kilometers of land, 54,000 plus square kilometers of land. With the Mambila area that is good for flour, good for coffee, good for tea. Kenya exported over 500 million flour last year. I went to the flour fields. The young girls and boys that work there are paid about $100 a month. There's no way they can get involved with stealing. It is not possible. Ethiopia exported 1.1 billion worth of tea last year. There's no way they can be involved in stealing. Sri Lanka, with all their problems, as you know, exported tea, 1.4 billion. So if you put all these products together, it's about 3 billion from third world countries. Assuming Taraba is able to do 10% of that, that's $300 billion, which at today's money, about 150 to 180 billion dollars, which is about the same thing or more of what is said. So you can go on and on. You can do the same thing. So for me, the North is critical. On each of my people talking about Muslim ticket, quite frankly, I have never known me or anybody who is doing that. What the opposition is doing now is to call each other name and go and say, Peter, you know, look at all of you here now. I have been here talking and me and you have been exchanging ideas. I've not given any of you $1. You're doing this for the love of your country. The opposition is busy sharing millions of dollars. You have not heard that Peter gave anybody $1 and everything. You've not heard it. So the people that are paying and the people who they've hired number. I know some of them who have hired today 500 to 1,000 young boys in social media I'm not in Facebook, but I have up to 6 or 7 Facebook accounts, but up to 10. I don't have a Facebook account. But if you go there, so they do lots of things in order to paint the person black. There's nothing I can do. That's why I'm here. So if I say, oh, 5 years ago, I wear only one watch, hey, rather than go and verify, like I said, if they see me, at a time, one of the institutions that went gave me a band, this band to monitor the number of steps I take every day. They say, he's wearing 2 watches. It's a different watch. I've saw people wearing the band. Thank God that my phone can now count the number of steps. So when doctors ask me, where's the band? I said, no, they turn it into watch. You've seen a situation where I wear shoe and I said, I bought it in Marks and Spencer. Somebody had to go to the shop because they said, oh no, he's wearing Prada. I don't have to. It was their question that I was answering. When you not answer that question, so everywhere I go, they try to paint it. They said, they asked me a question. I say it's Marks and Spencer shoe. They say it's Prada. And even show the mark on it until somebody went to Marks and Spencer. I don't have to, I'm not trying to convey any message by saying I won't watch. I was just answering something and saying, why do people buy so many watches and keep it in their house when the purpose of watch is to keep time? So if you're not wearing it, whose time is it keeping at the house? Now that's why I have one. I'm not saying anybody should or anything, but they will turn it around. So anything I say, they must turn it around and try to produce something else out of it. Because if you succeed, they're going to be out of work. They're going to do this. If you succeed, you're going to cut, which is the biggest thing we need today, cost of governance. So I can have free up resources to do something. At least the leaders should live within the means or within the people or in their style, so you can be part of them. So be rest assured, I don't see anything. All these Muslim, Yoruba, Igbo are coined by our failed leaders to sustain the mismanagement of Nigeria. So you're a Muslim, you go to Dubai. I said it to anybody who go to Dubai. St. Mary's Church in Dubai, the land and the church is built by Emir of Dubai. It's a Kali church. The Emir even comes there during the Christmas or Muslim to worship. And everybody wants to go to Dubai. And it's a Muslim country. So when people come here and talk about religion, for me, religion has not paid anybody's bill. There's nowhere in the north that you can say today it's safer than places in the north, south. You can't go to Kaduna from Abuja by road, by air or by train. Is it because somebody from the south is president? No. So let's deal with the issues of the country. I don't think okay, someone talking about issue of voters and the machine and the network. Well, those are things we have to deal with in the coming days. I don't think it's something that we should, we'll deal with it when we are dealing with INEC and other issues.
I thank you very much, His Excellency. This is Elomba here. May I ask 2 questions we would like you to address for us before you take a rest? One of the major complaints we're having from across Nigeria is the difficulty in registering with the Labour Party. And of course, we know your time is
difficult in registering with Labour Party.
The Labour Party.
difficulty in contacting the officials of the Labour Party
Okay.
at this stage. Is this something you may eventually have time to address? And secondly,
Let me tell you about Labour Party so you understand issue of Labour Party. You know, let me tell you, I'm a businessman. So I remember once I found a product, a very good product, you know, and I went and imported about half a con. This was in the 90s. I went and imported about few cartons of it, and I came back. I sold everything in 1 week. So I went back to the suppliers from Asia. I went to them and I said, I want to buy a container. This thing they're doing it in one room. It was just the man, the wife, the mother-in-law, and the wife's brother. They said to me they've never sold one container before. I said, I need this container in the next 2 months. They said they won't do it in up to 4 months. That it takes them time. So they were able to do it after 4 months. Another 2 containers, it took them 6 months. Other 3, it took them, eventually today, that company produces every month 10 to 20 containers of the same product. What am I trying to say? Labour, it was just a company that was there until I came into it. I'm the first presidential candidate Labour Party is having. So it suddenly came and they were overwhelmed by the demand of Nigerians wanting to work with them. They're doing very well. They have a fantastic chairman. I can tell you, one of the best people I've met in politics in Nigeria. If you ask our national chairman today, do this, he will tell you, we can't do it because we don't have it. It's not as if Labour is well established in all the states of Nigeria. We are doing that now. So we're opening up a new production line to be able to accommodate the new products. And we're doing so aggressively. It's that when people say, oh, your impact was not felt in it, your impact was not felt in this, I laugh. I joined Labour, became the candidate 30th of May. So yesterday was 2 days, 2 months or so that I joined Labour. But people have already started comparing you with people who have been in politics, who have been there for 24 years. It is not automatic. You need time. Within these 2 months, we've been able to create a movement that makes meaning. All we need is for everybody to come together so we can continue in this direction and get to where we're going. So I've taken a note of what you said. Labour for the first time is printing party cards. We just ordered for about 500,000 or 1 million party cards. All they used to do is to ask them to print 20,000, 15,000, this. So they're overwhelmed. But it's working and they're doing the right things. If there's anything I can do to help, please bring it to my attention. I assure you I'm following up. Are they doing the right thing? They're doing the right thing. Maybe not as aggressive as we want it, but we'll get there.
All right, sir. Another question from me would be, the day you were in London on May 23, 2022, and we were walking along the road, you see lots of Nigerians rushing up to you. They have stayed abroad for so long, so we want to come home. That is why they are rooting for you. So for the Nigerians and diaspora, when you become president, what is your plan to stop the brain drain, to allow the thousands of Nigerians in Canada and UK and the United States to come back to Nigeria?
Well, I want to advise them to start coming back tomorrow. You know, I lived in the UK for 10 years. And I can tell you, they will start coming home when they see that things are changing. Is that when people say about going to attract foreign investor, that for me, that language doesn't exist. You don't go looking for foreign investor. Foreign investors, the relationship with any countries like bee and honey. When they see the local investor doing well, they will come. So what you need to do is to make the local investor comfortable, and they see the local market growing, because you need to look at disposable income to attract people. If they see law and order, they will come on their own. Companies are going, look, foreign investor is like I said, bee and honey. If you put honey here, how the bee will come, you wouldn't even know. But they have to see the honey. But the first thing you do is you must make it that the local investor is making profit, people are being employed, they have disposable income. That is how we move. So for me, if I become president, I'll focus on rebuilding Nigeria. And to do it, nobody expects 100% result. They have to see 100% effort. Once Nigerians are sure, like every other country, we're in the right direction, and you're pulling all the strings to move to that right direction, Nigerians are very good people. They'll support you. I saw it in Anambra State. Everybody supported me. I live in Onitsha today. Everybody knows that the only place between us is Onitsha. And I come out. Abaribe, he came to Onitsha with me. And he saw something that shocked him. Me and Abaribe went out to the streets in Onitsha. Not with security, with anything. I wanted to buy bread. An old woman who was selling bread said I should take the bread for free. And Abaribe said, Madam, I said, no, it's Peter, let him take the bread. And I said, Madam, how many bread do you sell? He said he buys 30 of them. 40 of them he used to buy, 40, at 250 naira each. And he sells it for 300 naira. So every day he makes 2,000 naira selling those bread. And that's what he's using to feed a family of 4. But he's willing to let one go because of me, because of what he said I did. And it's a state that I ruled for 8 years. I live there. And some of you are from there. So you know how I move around there. If you go there, they're happy with me. And that's what it should be. Even now, it's very difficult. And people say, oh, there's crime, there's this, this. I go there every weekend. I must be there. Go and check everybody who says people are going to burial or this. They'll see me going around. Because that is, if it's bad, I'm part of those who, if it's good, that's it. I don't have to go back and live in. The day I left London, I said goodbye to white man. I returned everything that belongs to him. I go to London today with the visa. Everything that comes, say, I'm going to my country to die. I don't have no dual citizenship. I'm a citizen of Nigeria. I don't have resident permit of any country. Either by property, my property is still there in London. And it's what they can give me resident permit for today. But I don't want resident permit of any country. I'm a Nigerian. I want to die in Nigeria. Even if I'm outside this country now and there's war, I'll come back here and die. Even if I'm not anybody. I just want to be a Nigerian. And I'm happy to be a Nigerian. And nobody asks me to go and do that. It's what I want to do. I'm not even telling my wife or my children to do the same thing. I've told them, do what you want to do. You have a life to live. Don't look at me. This is what I want to do, because that's what I want to do. And it's critical for me. And that's why I want it to work. I don't want anybody to tell me, oh, this is this. It can work. Let's do the sacrifice. If it doesn't work, then we know. But there's no sacrifice here. How can people just get up at me? stealing public money without conscience, not looking at anything. They don't care what is. For me, let's make it work. It can be done. I'm not a saint, but I want us to sacrifice for the sake of our children.
All right, sir. Are you not scared? For the first time in the history of this country, the amount of revenue generated by Nigeria is not enough to service debt. For the first time, the amount used to service debt surpassed the quantum of revenue generated by this country. So are you not scared to take over this body?
I've been saying this since 2017, when the then minister said he's going to pull people out of, it's going to spend its way out of poverty. I said, you don't spend your way out of recession. When we had recession, he said they are borrowing to spend their way out of recession. America had recession, and they were doing quantitative easing by printing more money and spending their way out of. I said, America is a developed economy. That's why I don't like people when they compare America and Nigeria, or Britain and Nigeria, or these are developed economy. All they deal with is tax issues, rate issues. They're not dealing with developmental issues. They have roads already. They have education. They have all these basic things already. So nobody is campaigning today the what they used to campaign now in Britain is tax rates, foreign relation issues, all this stuff. That's what they used to come. But here, you need to talk about basic issues. Even if they're mentioning health, education, and everything in the UK, it is not what makes the average person vote. It is the issue of tax, the issue of this. So you must know where you are. That's why I always compare Nigeria with Bangladesh, with Philippines, with Vietnam, and this and that. You don't go and be in a Division 3 league and be comparing yourself with people in Division 1. No. Compare yourself with those who are supposed to be in the same place with you, or people in Division 2. Don't go to Premier League when you're in Division 3. Where we are now is Division 3. So when people are comparing us with America, it's waste of everybody's time. Where are you going to start? The GDP of California alone, which is one state in America, is 3.3 trillion. That is 8 times the GDP of Nigeria, $400 billion. So this is one state. So why are you comparing yourself with America? It is not good to compare yourself with countries that have similarity. Ethiopia have Ethiopian Airlines that is doing well. They are cultivating and exporting this thing. They are doing cuttings to employ their people. So why are we not doing this? So it is important that, for me, the debt, which is what you talked about, where countries have gone through this and came out of it, it will be difficult. We're going to borrow more money. But if you borrow the next level of investment and utilize it very well, you're going to change the trajectory. If today you decide to invest in power, for a developing country, not sure, but it has always been, from all studies, it's shown that for every 1,000 power of electricity you generate, you could add half to 1% to your GDP in a developing world, especially one that is as low as ours, because you increase your productive, especially manufacturing capacity. Today, Nigeria, a country of 200 million, is generating 4,000 megawatts. Look at what happened in South Africa. South Africa is 60 million, generating over 50,000. And on Monday, the president of South Africa issued an emergency energy plan by saying that anybody can generate power without license up to 100 megawatts. These people are producing over 50,000 and they're in crisis. So imagine where we are for 4,000, for 200 million people, there are 60 million. Egypt is producing over 50,000, the third biggest economy. So we have a deeper crisis. That's what we need to face, the crisis of power. Imagine if we can add 10,000 more today. Let's say he only give us 0.5%. But I'm sure it might be up to 10%, like they said, 1%. So 10%. So you're going to add about 40, 10%. You're going to add almost about 100 billion to your GDP, which will change your per capita today. So it's critical that you do that. We're just adding 10 billion. Not even, I'm using now, not even using, I'm using 0.25%. You're going to add 10 each time you put 10 billion. And you do it into 10, 100 billion. If we do what they said, about 5%, look at what you're going to be adding, 20 billion times 10, 200 billion, $600 billion. $600 billion today will give you almost per capita of 3,000. You change the dynamics of the country. Just focusing on power. And you can do this not by borrowing money, but by issuing a country, a national, a sovereign guarantee. Because we don't have money any longer. Then schedule your debts in such a way that it will allow you space to start building the country and and insist on a law that all borrowed money must be for investment. There's not a difficult thing. It's difficult, but not impossible.
One final quick question from me, Mazi, before I drop the mic. Are you not scared, sir, at the level of passion generated by Nigerian youths? Because some people say it is the same passion that pushed Buhari into power, and today many of his supporters are disappointed. And are you not scared of the enormous work, of the enormous hope, and enormous burden that the youth of Nigeria are putting on your shoulders, and the risk of disappointment?
As long as you carry them around and communicate it, the duty of the leader is to, nobody expects 100%. Remember what I said. They want 100% effort, and they want it to be communicated. My brother, if we are a driver today, and you're driving from, you live in the UK, if you're going from London to Manchester, and you are on motorway that leads to that Manchester, even if you're supposed to be Manchester in 3 hours, and you are doing so if you're going to be in 3 hours, maybe you're supposed to be doing, I don't know how many kilometers per hour. Assuming you're on a motorway where you're supposed to be doing 50 or something per hour, and you're doing 10 per hour. It is difficult, but those you're carrying, the passengers you're carrying, knows you're in the right direction, but maybe for one reason or the other, your vehicle is not moving well, maybe because the vehicle is old, maybe because of bad fuel, maybe because, there's so many things that will tolerate it. But it becomes impossible and unacceptable when you're supposed to be going to Manchester, but you're headed towards, I don't know where, any other direction. Just like in Lagos, yeah. I went to Ibadan. And all of a sudden, people will saw you heading to Benin. It's not. You must, if you're in the right direction and you communicate it, please. You get to the airport today and they say, please, due to bad weather, due to maybe some issues with the plane, it is delayed for 1 hour, 2 hours. As long as it's communicated, people understand. They might say we're missing or we're supposed to be there, but when it is that you come to the airport, you go to the counter to check in, there's nobody in the counter of the airline. They don't have their staff there. There's nobody to tell you anything. You don't hear anything, but you're sitting in the board. This flight is due for 1 hour. It's due for 1 p.m. 1 p.m., nobody is there. 2 p.m., nobody's talking to you. 3 p.m., nobody's talking to you. 4 p.m., nobody's talking to you. 6 p.m., nobody's talking to you. They start making noise, and somebody comes from nowhere and says, why are you complaining? Why are you talking like that? Don't you know that we have fuel problem in this country? That is not the time to communicate it. You have to communicate all those things that is making it impossible for you to get there. Are we going to change Nigeria overnight? No. Are we going to start making everybody, pull people out of poverty? No. China didn't do it. Vietnam didn't do it. India didn't do it. But go and check the records. China, over a period of 15 years, pulled from 2000 to 2015, pulled 439 million people out of poverty. They didn't say they did it in 1 year. Vietnam did the same thing, about 50 million. India, 276 million. What am I saying? They did it over a period of time. If you say today, don't say you're going to put 10 million out of poverty yearly, when you know it's impossible. Just even promise and do 1 million. And let it be. Whatever you're doing, as long as you're in the right direction and it's measurable, people will believe you. And you communicate it by saying, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. If you say you're doing poverty alleviation, or you're doing farming program, let people see the farmers. Let it translate to their products. Let people see say there's more yam in the market. There's more this in the market. Goods are coming to the market. But when you now say you're spending trillions for agriculture and the food is increasing and this is happening, it's not. On the issue of brain drain, let me be honest with you. I have a different position with it. I tell people, Indians are driving, managing all the non-technology companies today. They didn't do it, but it's not because they were living in India. Those who changed China, those who are doing everything, they're all over the world. There's nothing wrong. If we train enough manpower in Nigeria, we have excess capacity, they can go abroad. Those who will stay, will stay. But the reason why they are running away and there's none to stay here is because the whole place is collapsing. If we do the right things, some will be here, some will be abroad. Even those who go abroad will earn money and come and invest it here, which means we're going to have more remittances. That's more remittances, which we desperately need. So my brother, for me, is a win-win situation. Let's have leadership, not just one person who are willing to. I don't want to discuss what other people do. People have had faith in me when I went to Anambra State. Remember, where I am now is exactly where I was in Anambra State. I left PDP 4 or 5 months or something to the election, joined a party that is less than 1 year old, APGA then, and won the election. And when they didn't declare me, I went to court. Everybody said it's never happened in Nigeria. And I stayed there for 3 years and became the first to be declared the governor through court. Of course, as you know, 6 months I was impeached because I was a driver carrying passengers that have since passed their destination. They didn't know where I was going, so they pushed me out. I went back to court again and came back. This is where I claimed that I was the first, and they've since reminded me that Ladoja came before me because Ladoja was impeached in January. He came back in December. I was impeached in November. I actually got my judgment that the court actually declared that the judgment was impeachment was null and void in December. But I wasn't reinstated until another further interpretation, because the lower court, they said didn't give an order to reinstate me. So I went at the Court of Appeal and did that. So it took from November, December, January, February, about 3 months. I came back again. After 3 months, I came back. It took longer than 1 year, but they are right. I was looking at my impeachment. I was impeached the same time with me, Fayose, and Darie. And I was using this theory to gauge and said I came back first. And then I said, oh, Peter Obi have committed, he has killed somebody. Then I put it there and said, he quoted wrongly. No. I was impeached. And I came back. And I was comparing myself to the other 3. So, in this again, I came back. When they did the election in Anambra State, I said it's wrong. They refused. I went to court. I removed Andy, but I came back. That is why you have staggered the election today. So you can, I've been in this position. People would, and what were people doing? I went for second tenure election. People voted for me without giving them 1 naira. I never gave anybody 1 naira to vote for me in my second term. So you can do the people when you're communicating. Up to today, if I'm campaigning for you in Anambra State, they'll say, Peter, we come back, is you we want. Why? Not because I did everything they want, but because I communicated it as I'm doing the road. I've said to you, you are from this local government. I'm doing 1 kilometer of road in your local government once every 4 months. And I'm communicating it. So thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Thank you for, we can be here all night. The reason why we have consistently here, we've maxed out the Zoom here, 1,000 people non-stop for the last 3 hours. No one wants to go. I know you have to go and rest. I know you have done enough today that if we stay here, it's going to be non-stop. However, there is just one more thing here. The coordinator from Germany, our coordinator from Germany, that is Chukuma Ezadachia, wants to have just 30 seconds, Chukuma, if you kindly unmute. Can you kindly throw your question, please?
And then after I call somebody.
It's okay. Thank you very much for affording Germany the opportunity and the privilege to speak directly to our principal, Mr. Peter Obi. I am I am Mazi Chukuma Ezadachie, the coordinator of POS in Germany, and the former coordinator of Ndibo, Germany. And His Excellency a lot of our members, many of whom are listening to you right now as you speak, are asking me what exactly, if there is anything that Germany can do for you. Because as you know, Germany is strategic when it comes to economy of Europe. And we have a lot of experts here, many of whom have a lot to give back to Nigeria. So if you can just tell us in a specific terms, what exactly, if there is any expectation you have for us in Germany, and then we are going to get back to you. And on a personal level, I'm into logistics. How realistic can we expect somebody like me to ship my first container here from Germany and expect to clear it from Onitsha? So under your leadership, how realistic is that going to be? And with this, please, we are planning our inauguration very soon, and many of them want to know if it's going to be an opportunity for you to visit us too. Thank you very much. And we are very obedient, and we believe by God's grace, you are going to be the next president of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Chukwuma. Thank you.
Let me just quickly answer this from James. The one is that I actually have somebody and who had come through some very senior citizens requesting that I visit Germany, even if it's for a few hours. Yes. And I'm trying to see the possibility of passing through Frankfurt in the next month or so. I promised the person, I said, I've not spoken to the person directly, yes, but I promised he spoke to here. Now what I'm going to do is that I have an event I'm going to Rome for. And if I'm going to go to Rome, to Italy, then the best thing for me would be to go to Germany and the next day continue my journey to Rome.
His Excellency.
That's coming evening, but I have not done it. I'm not choosing a date. If I choose the date, I'm sure.
His Excellency, you will be rest assured that we can arrange that. If we have your details when you are coming.
Sorry, Chukwuma here. We can arrange that. Sorry, let's.
Somebody have also said I'm going to come, so I'm going to inform you and tell you what I'm doing. On issue of logistics, let me be honest with you. I was part of the Onitsha seaport and everything. It is basically a transshipment port. But you will agree with me that the main ports are not working. So you're not going to start with the transshipment ones. What we need today, in order to at least decongest Lagos and do the right things, is to actually make sure that we deepen the functionality of the ocean terminal in Port Harcourt, which is the deepest part of the ocean in Nigeria in terms of draft. If I'm right, I'm not, this is years back from my report. And that can be a transshipment and export port. I'll be very busy. Put what I said before, that I'm going to make Aba and Port Harcourt one time. People thought, oh, I'm going to call it one time. I said, no. I'm going to make it easy that all this clothing, shoes, everything from Aba hit the market outside Nigeria through export. Be able to do ensure that there's easy access from Port Harcourt to Owerri to Nnewi, Aba to Port Harcourt. And of course, if you don't know, through Ndoni, also you can enter Obaru in Onitsha. When you open up all this, so we have access to the sea in what you can do from, of course, across the second Niger Bridge, you hit Warri in less than 1 hour, few minutes. So there's so many things we can do to open up the place, especially for export, and do this. The Onitsha port, as we develop this, then as businesses increase, the transshipment port will start working. And that is where we're going to open up the logistics. Nigeria have opportunity of earning far more than is earning now through port operations. But it has to be efficient. Very, very efficient, not where it takes you 2 weeks for goods to come from Europe to Nigeria, and it takes months to clear in Nigeria. No, can change all this and increase in activities. On what they're saying, what Germany can do, or people in Germany can do, is quite a lot. Like I said before, if we have the opportunity, we are going to seek help of Nigerians abroad, especially in terms of idea or how things are done properly. You live in the biggest economy in Europe. We're going to approach that economy. Of course, when I talk about power, you can't talk about power today in Egypt without calling Siemens. And where they're from Germany. So we're going to do a lot to make things work. And we're depending on Germany to help us in different areas, support and everything. So quite frankly, there will be a lot for Germany as a nation. And there are people who are there to help in so many ways.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are now rounding up. We have Samadna here to talk about something, but before he does, there is something that's been happening here. A lot of you are saying you want to help, you want to become volunteers. In this room and online, both across all the social media platforms, we have over 5,000 people that has been with us in the last 3 hours. Yet the call to action for us to fill in these forms to become volunteers, I get the information that only 51 people so far has filled this information. Please, 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 I hand over to Samadna to bring more clarity to it because we need this call to action. Thank you very much. Samadna, over to you quickly.
Hello, thank you very much, Mr. Mazi is okay for this. And thank you very much, His Excellency, for being here. Nigerians have for so long awaited this bridal moment. And the only way for us to make this happen is for us to put in that direct, manual, grassroots, physical job. It is not enough for us to wish for good government. His Excellency has given us the mandate today. He said, and I quote, "I have come to start the movement for Nigerians to take back their country." And with this, there is a link right now that I will be pasting on the group chat. And this is the call to action. For the next 3 minutes, we want everyone go on the comment section of Facebook, Twitter, Telegram on this particular program, on your personal Twitter. And there is a link I'm currently sharing in the chat. Copy that link. We want you to be the structure. We want you to fill out this form. What we have on this form is just your basic information, the state and local government where you stay, and more importantly, we also want your voters code information. So when you look at your permanent voters card, at the top of your picture, there is a 9-digit number that starts with, if you are from Abuja, it starts with 37. If you're from Anambra, it starts with 04. So it starts with your state, your local government. What do you say?
Do you mind sharing your screen if you don't mind?
Okay, sure. Just give me a moment. Let me just pull it up. I'll share my screen now. Just give me a moment now. Okay, so I have the form now. Where is the share button? Okay. Okay, so I have so you have to allow me to share my screen.
You are allowed.
No, I'm not allowed. Participant screen sharing is disabled.
You are now.
Okay, awesome. So if you can hear my voice anywhere you are, you should be doing just one thing. And that one thing is either you're sharing this form or you are filling this form and submitting this form. So basically, this form asks you for your first name. If you can see my screen, there is a Google form and there is a sheet. Those persons that would have access to this sheet are those persons who are connected to the POSN structure. But for it to go wide, there is the Google form that I've just put on the chat. So we need your first name, your last name, your phone number, email address, the place you stay, and your polling unit code. Now, I'm just going to expand my screen so you would see how to get your polling unit code, right? So your polling unit code, when you look at your voter's card, on top of your picture on your voter's card, you would see a number. For instance, this person has 26-19-10-011. So that number is your polling unit code. Then if you don't have your voter's card, for instance, and what you have is the slip that was given to you during INEC registration, just look at this slip and look for the word delimitation. So I'm just going to put that there in the chat for us to see very well. Just give me 1 second now. I'm going to type that in. So anybody that can type, just type in delimitation, D-E-L-I-M-I-T-A-T-I-O-N, right? So that is delimitation. So that is the information where you can find your polling unit code. So or you can also log on to INEC websites. When you log on to INEC website, cvro.inec.nigeria.org, you sign up, you access your profile, and when you go to view your polling information, you're going to find your delimitation. And it starts with your state code, then your local government code, your ward code, and your polling unit code. So we want that information on this form. Why do we need this information? With this information, we are going to know in what ward and local governments are we having a gap in our structure. All of us can be in just one place in Lagos, and there is nobody somewhere in Anambra. So we want to be able to identify all the loopholes. And so we need you for this call to action. We need you to aggressively share this link, fill the form, get your polling unit code on this particular document. And once we get that information, down the road, before the year ends, we're going to be organizing Operation Know Your Polling Units. The work we are doing here is not to talk, we are here to work. And if you are ready to take back your country, you must be ready to put in the hard work to make that change happen. It is a difficult process, I will tell you, and you must be ready to pick up your cross and follow His Excellency, our principal. At this point, I would once more recall and reinstate the call to action. The Google link you have, copy the link, fill the form, share it to your Twitter, share it to your Facebook, share it to your Instagram, paste it to your WhatsApp, circulate it in your school groups, your family WhatsApp groups, and all of that. And let everybody know that in the coming months, in your ward, in your local governments, you're going to start seeing the Peter Obi structure. And what we are building is the Peter Obi party. So if you are here on this event right now, see yourself as a member of the Peter Obi party. And if you are ready to make this happen, I would like to see your reactions on your screen. Either you're clapping or you're waving your party art or you're doing any other thing, but you should be excited because that change that you're looking for, it is close by. So I want you to be excited. I want you to be motivated. I want you to stay energized because this is going to become reality. But first, it is not enough to just clap or feel energized. Take the form, fill them, submit them, and we'll go track them very well. And when time reach, Peter Obi will take over as the president of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Samad Nana, so as you don't talk, I don't see close to 100 people actually clapping on that. I like that. Now it's like he said, if you go to our Facebook now, it's on the Facebook page, P2B Support Network. If you go to the Twitter, it's on Twitter. If you go to the Telegram, it's on Telegram. These are platforms that allow links. Sadly, we will be adding that on the Instagram as well, in the bio section, so that you can go and fill out this form. By tomorrow as well, that link would have a page on our website, www.p2bsupportnetwork.com. And we once more want to thank our principal for having the time. And as he was talking, I'll tell us this, as he was talking, many of you still were supporting what we do. And I want to say thank you for believing in that which we do on this platform, p2bsupportnetwork.com. Now, as a means of recognition, we have Njideka Malu, who donated 50,000 naira, and we have Nancy watching ANG, who donated 500 naira, and we have Bia Seren, 10,000, and Ifeima 10,000 naira, and Anyi Waru Zubairu 2,000 naira. You can see that this cuts across, like someone said before, across ethnicity. This is not an Igbo project, neither is this a Southern project, but this is a Nigerian project to take back our country. In the words of Dino Melaya, he will say, from the cankerworms eating Nigerian dry. So indeed, and in of a truth, for us here to be over 1,000 for more than 3 hours and across board over 5,000 watching for the last 3 hours has been an engaging evening. On that note, I would want to, our principal is still here. I do not know if he has a final word for us or he has retired. I don't want to stress you, sir. If we are basically now closing and rounding off before we say goodbye to everyone this evening. Sir, if you're still there, if not, we can also understand you have really, really spent an immeasurable time with us this evening. An atmosphere that is well relaxed, all questions taken, all questions asked. Indeed, it is a wonderful evening. So who has taken over the sharing? Hold on. I think okay, hold on, so that we no longer allow anyone to share, sorry. On that note, I think our principal is now, having spent so much time with us. Ellen, I do not know if you have any word, anything to say before we call it a day.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. On that note, all we can do, while you are filling the form, as Samadna suggested, let us not, let us also bear in mind that all we do and all the dedication we have from the team is top-notch. If you can afford, if you can help in giving the little you can, that will be much appreciated. If we look at the comment section across all these social media platforms, you will see the numbers there. For those of you that are that may want us to repeat the account number again, the account number you saw when our Director of Finance, Ikenga, gave us update as to how much we've been able to raise and what we used this money for. And he also informed us that those who are at the management level of this entity all work day and night pro bono to ensure that this dream of a new Nigeria with our principal, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, comes to fruition. The account number once more is with Keystone Bank 10125280032. On that note, without further ado, I will say, everyone, it's been my pleasure to have you and our collective pleasure to have our excellence here, addressing us in the last hour. all questions that you have asked has been answered. Now, the next thing left for us to do is, if you haven't joined this network, please, by all means, too, go to the P2B support network, fill in the form. You have the Telegram group and the WhatsApp group sent to you. Join us on Telegram so that when we have our meetings, which we do have bi-weekly, you will be able to be part of that. And that's where you also get to know what we are doing. Starting from tomorrow, we are having a new work stream for the month of August before the campaign eventually starts. There are plans that we have weekly, monthly, quarterly. These are already laid down. There might be minor alterations and changes here and there, but again, the strategy is intact because we know if we miss it this time around, like the deputy to our, to His Excellency, Dr. Dati Baba Ahmed said in an interview over Zoom, I think sometime within the week, that Nigeria has never had it good in a very long while to have a pair wanting to govern Nigeria that is ready, committed, young, intelligent, and energetic to take over. You know what has been happening in Nigeria is that people who, without sounding condescending, but people who never really showed much interest, it has always been getting someone from somewhere and making the president of Nigeria, and we've been going from mess to mess. But 2023 is a time and a year that you and I can make the change. We can make it happen. On that note, I say once more, on behalf of all the board members of the P2B support network, my name, Mazi Ezeoke, say thank you once more for being part of this.
It's okay. Somebody needs to thank you now. You don't try. Are you being machine? Have you take something? Thank you very much. Thank you. You try.
Yeah, thank
God
you very
bless
much. It's okay.
Thank you very much. So somebody needs to thank me. I think the greatest thank Nigerians can thank me is to ensure that come 2023 that our story changes.
No, but it's okay. You know, this your head now is only a cap. Now you become a bishop. They don't need to hire you. You become without a cap.
So Mazi, I can see the form is already trending on Twitter. We want more persons to keep.
Oh, you must get set to let us go. Okay. Solo Francis, let's go.